If you're remapping your MIDI controller every time you start a new Ableton set, stop. Hi, I'm John from Remotify.io. We help producers create more powerful MIDI controller mappings to improve their Ableton Live workflow. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can save and reuse your MIDI mappings. A big problem with Ableton's MIDI mappings is they disappear each time you start a new set. Here's an example. First, I'll open MIDI mapping mode. Currently, the mapping browser is empty, which means I don't yet have any MIDI mappings. I'll assign some. I'll add track volume to the top encoder, panning to the next one, and then sends 1 and 2 to the bottom 2 encoders. Quick and simple. The 4 MIDI mappings are displayed in the browser. You also see MIDI data assigned to each parameter. This tells us that the MIDI mappings have been assigned. And if I turn the encoders, you can see that they're now controlling those parameters. I'll save this as a live set. But now, if I start a new live set and open the mapping browser again, the mappings are gone. This is because MIDI mappings are only saved in the live set which you created them in. If I open the set that I just saved, the mappings are back in the browser. So this is the problem. Next, I'll show you how to get around this limitation. The first solution is to use templates. A template in Ableton Live is essentially a pre-built starting point, enabling you to save time by starting a new set with your go-to tracks, devices, and routing already in place. So you're not rebuilding the same setup every time. And this includes your MIDI mappings. Here's a quick example. I'll add some audio tracks to my session. I'd like to have control over each track's volume using the encoders on my MIDI controller. So I'll map each of them in the same way as I did before. I'll go to the File menu, but rather than saving the set using the Save Live Set As option, I'll save it as a template. Using this option saves to the templates folder in the user library. Now I'll load a blank live set. And there's no MIDI mappings listed in the browser. But if I open the template I saved, I now get my 6 audio tracks, and the mappings are listed in the browser again. And if I turn the encoders, I have control of the track volumes. This can be taken one step further. If I want this template to load whenever I start a new set, so that I don't need to remember to go to the user library templates each time, I just need to go back to the File menu again, but this time save it as the default set. It again adds the template into the user library templates folder. I'll just delete all of the audio tracks and MIDI mappings from the browser. And now, when I click on New Live Set, the template automatically loads. MIDI mapping mode is great, but it does have its limitations. For example, there's no dynamic MIDI mapping options, so you can't map to the selected track's volume or to a knob on the selected device. So how do controllers such as the Ableton Push or the Akai APC40 do this? Well, they use something called a Midi Remote Script. If I open the Live menu and go to Settings, then the Link, Tempo and MIDI tab, in the Control Surface menu, there's a large list of MIDI controllers. Each of these is actually a MIDI remote script, purpose-built for each MIDI controller, such as the APC range. MIDI remote scripts make it possible to integrate controllers much deeper into Ableton Live than MIDI mapping mode is capable of. This is exactly why we built Control Surface Studio. Our app enables you to build custom MIDI remote scripts, so you're no longer limited by Ableton's MIDI mapping mode. Here's a quick example of how easy it is to create a script which controls the selected track's volume. I'm in Control Surface Studio with a new empty script open, which I've simply named MIDI mapping. And I have the MIDI Fighter Twister's controller template selected. I'm going to map the first encoder on the twister to the selected track's volume in Ableton. To do this, I'll add a new track volume mapping type and name it Selected Track Volume. Then open the controller input menu and turn the encoder. This selects it in the menu. Next, go down to the track selection section and change the track type from track to selected. There's also options for controlling return and master tracks. Save the mapping and save the script. Then click this button, which automatically generates the MIDI remote script code and puts it inside Ableton, ready to use. Now I'll go over to Ableton. As this is a new script, I just need to close and reopen it. And if I go to the Live menu, Settings, and then the Link, Tempo, MIDI tab, I just need to find the script which I named MIDI mapping. It'll be prefixed with the letters CSS. Now I just need to connect the MIDI Fighter Twister to it, and the script is now active. I'll delete the MIDI mappings in the browser. And now, when I turn the encoder, you can see the volume is controlled on the selected track. And if I change the track, the volume on the new track is controlled. Now I have control of any track's volume from a single encoder on my MIDI controller. And now that I have the script in place, I can continue adding mappings. I'll add a second mapping which controls the first parameter on the selected device, with the encoder below on the twister. Go to the mapping menu again. This time I'll select device parameter. I'll name this one Selected Device Parameter 1. Open the controller input menu and turn the encoder to select it. Then scroll down to the track selection section, and again I'll choose Selected. This mapping type has extra options. The device selection section. This menu here has options for choosing the selected device or a specific device number in the device chain. I'll choose Selected. And then in the section below, I can choose the parameter number to control on the device. I'll leave this set as 1, so it controls the first parameter. Then hit save, save the script, and generate this update into Ableton. As I'm using Ableton Live Beta, I can quickly reload the script by going to the Tools menu and clicking Reload MIDI Remote Scripts. I also have this assigned to a keyboard shortcut. The script is reloaded with the latest updates. If I add a device into this track and turn the encoder I assigned, you can see that it's controlling the first parameter. And if I add a device to a different track, it's controlling the first parameter on that device too. I can also add more devices in the same chain. Select each one, and I have instant control of the first parameter. I could now keep on adding more and more mappings until I have all of the controls that I need assigned to my MIDI controller. And as it utilises the power of Midi Remote Scripts, the mappings I add will always load instantly in every live set. Subscribe to the channel for more tutorials on MIDI controller mapping in Ableton Live, and please give this video a like if you found it helpful. Thanks for watching.